little peel for you guys. But we have an interesting board that has a pretty good price point, so we're gonna take a look at that. However, I got some new KTT switches in that I have no idea what they're called, but they're kind of cool. I've never seen KTT switches with box stems. Yeah, like look at these. No, wrong button. Box stems KTT. I don't even really know which ones these are. That's what I'm gonna call them. Yeah, there was no name given to me when they sent these over, but I don't know. This is them stock, by the way. They look like London Fogs. I don't think they're London Fogs because these have the KTT logo on them. Listen to this. Wait, are these? Is there an actual KTT London Fog? See, I don't, dude, I swear to God, I have no idea what people call their switches these days. No, the Owl Labs ones are the only London Fog ones that pop up. I don't know if they're long pole or not. I haven't actually here, I'll tell you guys right now, we'll open one up. It looks like they have a bit of a longer pole, using a long spring too, which is kind of nice. And it has actually a decent amount of stock lube. I don't even know, were these hand lubed before they sent them to me? I have no idea, I don't think so. I mean, legitimately stoked for, as in I just got this in today, didn't know what this was until like five hours ago, maybe less, and now I'm stoked for it. This is what I mean. I had no idea I was getting this, by the way. So I didn't know what this was. I knew who this was from, but I was away when they sent me the message. But take a look at this, dude. This is so interesting. I don't have like a good way to show you guys this, so I'm just gonna take it apart. Look at this. Dude, this is kind of sick, no? It's kind of cool. All the foam's gonna fall out now. I need to do more research into this particular board. But I mean, like, low-key, this is pretty hot looking, bro. Again, I don't remember the name of the keyboard, but I'm very interested in doing this board. And the last thing I wanted to take a look at on stream was this guy. This is kind of interesting. Low-key, I think this is kind of fun. Like, it is. So all the letters are done in these, like, really aggressive looking, not aggressive, but like very detailed, intricate fonts. It's kind of cool. I don't know what profile this is. I think it's I have somewhere with all the notes for this. I feel like I could make this work on a keyboard. I don't necessarily love that the shift and stuff doesn't really match up with this, but I still think this is pretty cool. I don't think it's SA. I think it's I want to say it's like a lower profile one. What's the name of the keycap? I think it's called Bronze Age, and these might be like, I don't know what this is exactly. Oh, that's kind of cool. Wait a second, I want to see this. They have a keycap with like a foiled font on, or a foiled kind of. That's kind of neat. I'd like to see more of that. Again, I think you could really make the novelties work if you take out all the other stuff, but pretty cool. I'm excited to try these. I don't know when I'm going to try them right now, but I'd be down to give these a little go. Okay, so the board, the Choice65, is basically the Join 65, but with an upgrade. If you guys remember, the Join 65 was something that I didn't think was like top tier. I thought it was just like a good option to have. But basically what happened was the studio, Velocifier, and I forget who else worked on this. They are good friends with the Join 65 people. So what they did was they ended up taking the framework for the keyboard, or just the base of the board, and then basically upgrading it. And they made it $120. So it's a CNC board at $120, which isn't that bad. Like, if this ends up being a pretty solid board, like, this is a great little option. It comes with this case. We've seen this before with Velocifier keyboards. It's a pretty nice color. So again, kind of follows that same styling of the Choice65, which wasn't bad by any means. Like it's not a bad looking keyboard. They just upgraded a whole bunch of it. So even though it starts at 120, I don't think this is bad at all. Let me put the feet on and then we'll kind of explore the way this thing looks. Or you know what? Yeah, let's put the feet on, then explore it. Little peel for you guys. This looks way nicer than the Choice65 weight, by the way. And I think another reason why they can probably keep it a bit cheaper too is it is two-tone. And the thing most people don't realize about two-tone cases is then you don't have to worry about ano match, which is kind of like a little shortcut you could take. It's the Mr. Suit weight. Sorta, but I mean, like, I think the Mr. Suit weight's a little bit sharper, isn't it? But if you don't have to worry about ano match, then it's not a terrible thing. The PVD is pretty good. There's small rippling in the PVD. I don't know if you guys can really even pick that up. Very subtle rippling on it. But I mean, other than that, it follows basically the same design language as the Choice65. And for 120, might be a pretty good little pickup. The seam's a little bit higher on the side, which is nice, kind of follows some nice lines in the keyboard. Not too bad. Orange ano looks so good. And I see that they also have this little top silicone piece, which I never like. But let's actually open this up to get to the inside of the keyboard. All preference based though. Anyone who gets into the hobby right now is lucky with all the cheap keyboards. I also very much agree with that. Did I miss a screw? I very much agree with that. Wait, did I miss a screw? No, I got all the screws. Why is this not coming? Oh, there we go. All right. So inside we have foam. I don't think I'm going to be using this silicone piece. Sometimes people include these to put on top of a PCB. It's supposed to alter the sound signature a little bit, but I'm not interested in that. I don't like the way these typically sound. Now, so this is another piece of, not criticism I'm going to say, but it's just interesting because when they actually sent me this over, they said that one of the, I'm not going to say upgrades, but one of the major changes that they did was not including flex cuts on a PCB, which is a welcome change, but like, I feel like for the people who do like flex cuts, options are always good. I still much preferred having none, but it's just funny how we've come like to the point where this might be an upgrade or a new feature or something like that. Other than that, pretty standard looking internal. The daughter board cable's a little shorter than I'd like, but yeah, that doesn't look too terrible to put in though. Other than that, not too bad. Not too bad for what you get in the box here. 120 bucks. Not too bad at all. Interesting, very interesting. And then I believe this sits on some gasket tabs, if I remember correctly. I believe it's just these little tabs over here, I want to say, that they sit on. You just kind of sit like that, but we'll see. I hate clicky switches. I don't mind clickies, mainly because clickies were actually one of the very first switches I ever used. So we do have to trim this over here in order for the 7U to fit. Okay, I'm gonna skip this top silicone piece, guys. I really don't care for how that's gonna sound. Now it is hot swap, and I probably will end up salvaging these switches off of this board eventually, because I really want to try these switches in a few different boards. My favorite musician? I mean, I think Queen and Linkin Park are my favorite artists. Queen and Linkin Park. I think that would be the answer that I'd be most comfortable giving you. Okay, I'm pretty positive they go in the corners here. I'm gonna put them in because I can already see it shifting a little bit. So, but you know what? I have to admit, pretty positive these go here for alignment. Wouldn't make sense anywhere else. My other thing now is if I did want to take out the bottom foam, can I? Will that work without the bottom foam? I believe it will, because it sits on... Okay, Okay, I'm gonna not use the bottom foam for this. We have to use the mid plate foam. I just wanted to see if it could not sit on the bottom foam. It looks like it doesn't have to use the bottom foam. The mid plate foam is how it actually mounts. Now, I've seen 1 or 2 keyboards over the last long while that have used a mounting style similar to that. I don't hate the mounting style. I personally want to say it's, I wouldn't say it's lazy, but it is limiting. But for 120 bucks, I'm not saying it's excusable, but if that's the mounting style they want to go for, then I think it might suit a lot of people who maybe prefer a foamier sound signature, which is fine. In general, the board does look nice. Like for 120 bucks, I don't hate this. You get a little brass, looks like a brass piece over here, the PVD'd weight, two-tone case, there's a few different colors. The PVDing is not bad quality. It's not, okay, the one thing I gotta say though, this isn't a boring case design either. It does have some interesting steps here and just angles, so it's not like a super like, oh my god, it's just, okay, for example, the Pluto. The Pluto is a little bit more of a simplistic, I'm not gonna say boring, but in a way, okay, I will say boring. It's a bit more boring. At least this, even though it kind of cheats and uses like a flat piece for the weight that kind of just sinks in, it does have some cool aesthetics to it, so I gotta admit. Side piece is kind of fun too. It's a box on wedge, but you get the two-tone color, which is pretty awesome. And let's see, let's put some keycaps on this. I don't know what I'm gonna put though. Can I use violet on cream? I think that would look nice. I'm gonna use violet on cream today. This is how I put back keycaps, by the way. So that's one small thing you guys might want to be aware of, is you will have to trim the foam if you want to use 7U. Just be aware of that. Not the end of the world, but a little bit of a manual piece on this end here. It's a pretty looking keyboard. It is. Like, I like the little front lip with the copper kind of, or the copper color kind of sticking out there. It's nice. Very pretty. So this is going to be available on Velocifier's website, and I believe there's tons of regional vendors for this. So it's 120 US. There's a lot of regional vendors. There is like a limit of, I think 700, I think they said. To go over some of the options here, it is a 1.2 millimeter thickness PCB. Because this is using the foam as a mounting solution, like the mid plate foam, or the mid foam, whatever you want to call it, it's honestly not a big deal that it's 1.2. If it didn't use and need the foam, I think it would be more of a big deal. But it's again, not the biggest deal in the world. Beautiful case for 120 bucks. You do get like that cool little leather pouch I showed you guys earlier in the box too. So instead of a hard shell case, you get this. Pretty cool. I've seen this before with Velocifier stuff. It's quite nice. I actually store other things in these. But that's really all you get with this. It's not quite like some of the other boards we've been seeing with multiple different mounting styles. This just has the one. But I guess if you were looking for a cheaper board with a, I would say more of like a box style aesthetic to it, because it is quite boxy except for the weight. Coating on this, like the ano on this, or whatever coating, e-coat probably on the white. It's all clean, all very good. PVDing is good too. But again, I think the caveat to this build, you will need the mid plate foam. There's no exception to this. You have to use it. With that being said, let's see how this sounds. Little HJ test for you guys. We're using KTT Switches, the Iwacha, I believe it's called. And then we are using the PC plate. I don't hate this. The foaminess is there, right? But It does have flex to it. It does move around because of the way it's mounted. Yeah, okay. So it does have... The mods all sound pretty good though, I have to admit. The spacebar sounds pretty good. This is not bad. It's not terrible. I think the Marbly 60 gave me a better overall sound signature, to be honest with you. But what you're getting here is a bit more of an upgraded case, which I appreciate. So it's not terrible. Yeah, slightly foamy sound signature. But I would say this is still pretty good. Pretty easy install. I would love to see in the future maybe an additional, or not additional, some alternative way to kind of mount this. But if you kind of loved the simpler 60, you might love this. And again, not a bad price point. The foam are a bummer. It might be a bummer to some people. This or a QK65, I would personally, for the money, I think the 65 has all the flex cuts in it, so you'd need the foam anyways. I kind of like the aesthetic of this more than the 65, so I would probably pick this. Can we have a quick tour of the sides and the bottom? Yeah, of course. Side profile fully built, if you guys wanted to see that. Very pretty. Like, I like the raised seam. I've been kind of really into seams these days. So you get the two-tone case, the seam a little bit raised up there, which is nice. The back profile, which again you can see kind of like an upside down U of the white part of the case. So again, it does have some pretty nice aesthetics for 120 bucks. The bottom of the case, this is kind of where they're saving on some of that money, right? Like the weight isn't necessarily curving around or kind of peeking through. So the weight is in the bottom, but it does give you that nice sound profile of having a weight. Again, this, and then the front profile. Same idea as the back. So not bad, not bad. I'm sure you can probably fiddle around with this. Like, I'm pretty positive you can probably cut the foam to basically make it just so it surrounds the edges. Dude. Peace out, everybody. See you guys on Tim's stream in about an hour. Bye. Love ya. Big kisses. I don't hate this.